Good evening. Give it a second to get going here. So, wait. Sorry, a few minutes late. Technical difficulties here. So, everything's good now. Little Fig's crying. It's okay, Fig. I hear you, baby. Well, welcome everyone. My name is Trisha Chuba, and I'm ButterDish Designs, and this is Crafty Hour Live, and episode 120. So, thanks for joining me. And I had a lot of requests on how I made this particular card. This was one that I did last month for Jason's birthday, my husband's birthday. So, and it goes like this. So, tonight I'm going to show you how to make this, but we're going to use the Painterly Pears, and which I didn't finish putting the white piece in there yet, but you'll get the gist of it. So, this is how it goes. So we're just going to make a different version. So, all right. And get going here. If you're watching, make sure you say hi. If you're watching live or a replay, I appreciate it. Thank you. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm happy to help. And let's get started here. Go over to this one. All right. So let's start with the base first, okay? And that's going to measure 5.5 by 12 inches, okay? And so go. I used this particular piece here. Hi, Connie. So again, 5.5 by 12, and then you're going to score it. And let's start off this way. See if I can get that in there. And we are going to start with the scoring. Ooh, Figgy, it's okay, Fig. All right. Let me go grab Fig just so you guys can see her real quick. All right. Hang on, because she's crying. Okay, everybody. Let me turn the camera back on here. So, okay, everybody. This is Fig. Say hi, Fig. Maybe we will go to both of these. There. You're going to say hi? She's purring like crazy. You're making your debut on Crafty Hour. Yes. Yes. She is kitten, so she's only not quite 12 weeks and just under 2 pounds. And yeah, I'm calling you Stinky today. It's okay. She stinks really bad today, y'all. So Yes. Hi. So there she is. Say hi. All right, let me go put her up. She is, and she's not big enough to be out though while I do this just yet. So we're gonna put her up. So hang on here, and we'll be back. Say bye. Bye. Okay, you're good. No. Okay, so now y'all met Fig. Let's get started. So, all right, back to this. And if you hear, she is completely okay, just a kitten, and she wants to be near some people. Okay, so again, 5.5 inches by 12, and we're going to score it at 1 3/4. Make sure your cutting blade is out of the way there. And because we are using designer series paper, don't press too hard on that scoring, okay? So 1 3/4, 4 3/4. I hear you, Fig. Oh my. And 7 3/4. Okay. So there's that. And then I believe I have everything else cut. So let's just take a peek. Well, let's go ahead and fold this up and then we can do that. So just go ahead and get out your bone folder. Go ahead and give that a good crease there. And so this one comes this way. Hi, Figgy. This is the loudest she's been. Hi, Stay. You just missed Fig. But she's talking to us from the other room. All right. Maybe I'll bring her back on at the end. So this is how it works. And then this piece here is, the good thing is that all the height of all of these is all 5 1/4. So this is 4 inches by 5 1/4. It's going to go there. We're going to have the inside piece to write on here. This is 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. This piece right here is going to be the same size, but we're going to do designer series paper. And that is, again, 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. And this one here is 1 1/2 by 5 1/4 and 1 1/2 by 5 1/4. Wow, she's got some lungs on her. This is the first time she's ever cried like that. Okay, here. Oh, Fig, stop. Did that work? Okay, for this arched piece here, I went ahead and did 2 pieces that were 4 inches by 5 1/4, and I glued them together. And the reason being is that I wanted that same pattern on the back side. So again, this card here, even without the arch, this is a great stash buster. Yeah, stash buster for your paper. All right. So there's that. All right. I have a leaf sprig. I've got one that I stamped and die cut there. Let's see here. We're going to stamp the sentiment on this piece here, along with the pear. Oh, that piece is over here, just scrap piece. All right, so let's do that. We're going to stamp with Secret C here first. This is for the sentiment. Hello. And then we have friend here. Honey, if you're watching, she's your child right now. All right. There we go. So we have hello friend. Now let me tell you a little bit about what I did with the pear here. Grab another block. And old olive. All right. And I am going to stamp off, okay? Because I wanted this to be just not so dark. If I was to stamp full strength, the pear would end up being really dark like this. So I'm going second generation here. And I am going to clean this off. All right. And then I'm going to pull out the Darling Duckling yellow here. And I am going to stamp off with that one as well. And line that up there. There. Now I've got more of a hair color there with a little bit of yellow, a little bit of green, instead of just dark green. Okay. All right. Now, the one thing we could do with this is add a couple of little spots on there. And let me see here. Grab the basic beige here. Let's just play and see how this looks. All right. Basic beige already has like a green tone to it anyways. So now we have those spots on there. So good with that. Let me turn around, jump up and cut that out real quick. Just easier for me to get up and do it than to bring this over onto this. Okay, a little off there, so we're going to trim that down just a little bit. But this is the beauty of it. That's a-okay. If you don't like when one of your die cuts gets too far off, just simply trim it down. All right. Now let's go ahead and set that there with its little stem. This is our inside piece. And just so I have room to write, I am just going to do that like so. So we did Hello Friend on the outside, and I want to do this sentiment on the inside. It says, a good friend is a gift. And I really like that sentiment. So we will do that in the Secret C. There we are. Okay, so let's go ahead and start putting these pieces together. Because the frame goes on the outside, it's okay to go ahead and glue down all of these pieces. So let's get to it. The back side of this one is so pretty too. That's the hard part of doing these, is that if you love all the sides of your paper, you just have to pick and choose. But again, just the base of this takes half of a 12, a little less than half of a 12 by 12. And so you can make some beautiful cards without cardstock and bust some of that paper stash that I know the majority of us have. All right. Just a little longer, Fig. I hear you, baby. Oh, are you mad? I don't know. Can you guys hear her or no? Is it just me? Okay. All right. There we go. And let's do that front piece, and then we'll assemble. I'll show you some tricks for that too. And yes, this is busy pattern paper, but I think it works well. Don't be afraid to mix those patterns. A little dramatic there, Fig. Oh my goodness. I'm just attaching the stem here real quick. And then when you're gluing this down, I'm trying to get most of the pear over here onto this panel. And so I'm only going to glue the back side of that, okay? Yes, Fig. I think that's about pretty good. You can just lay this over it and see here. Yep, that looks good there. Okay, go ahead and press that down. Make sure I didn't go over, and I didn't. Now this one, when you're doing this, you've got to be really specific and make sure that you only do on this one side. It's just a little bit. Oh my goodness, Fig. All right. There we go. I'm just going to hold that, make sure I've got that. Good. Perfect. Now this piece, I do need to go ahead and poke this out. This leaf sprig in here is pretty dainty, but it does glue down well, so and it's real easy to do. Okay. Hold that. This one I went with the petal pink, and on this one I'm going to go with the Secret Sea. Just a little bit more contrast. Oh, Fig. I'm hurrying. Okay, that goes there. All right. And then we have our sentiment. And I'm going to snip a little bit of the ribbon here just to make sure I've got enough. There we go. On this particular piece, I am going to use glue dots. And then we'll be done and I'll go grab Fig again. It basically has not quit crying. We've only had her 6 days. So, and she's doing really well. Just remember on this, you can have a really bright gold side or you can have this more muted side with just a little bit of gold. Okay, Fig. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm sure she hears me talking. All right, so that's going to nestle right down here in the bottom area, and it's getting glued to the frame with the glue dots there. And then we'll give it some embellishments here, and then we shall be done. Let's go with the bright yellow on this one, because it'll show up against that secret C there. Bring out those yellow flowers there. So, all right. Here we go. So we have those. And this was the original card that people have asked me to make again. So here we go. If you notice that there's anything there, you could add a little glue dot. I didn't quite get that over far enough. I don't even think you need a whole glue dot. So, but you do need to make sure that it's tucked behind there. There we go. All right, so ta-da! And there we go. So, and then the back side looks like this. And see, if I had not glued these two together, then it would have been the back side of that pattern there. So that's why I went ahead and did that. So there we go. But give me a second. We'll go grab Fig again. For those of you who missed her beginning. Hey. I'll play it. Okay. So here we go. Little crafting kitty. Here we go. Say hi, Fig. Say hi, Fig. So now you've seen Fig. Thanks for joining me for Crafty Hour. I appreciate it. Here we go. There she is. Now you're just quiet like you normally are. Yes. Hi, baby. Anyways, thanks for joining me for Crafty Hour this week. I'll see you next week. Say bye, Fig.